Hey everybody, welcome back to Pushing Pixels. I'm your host Sam Mestis, and we're going to do this little banner that I saw at Disney World. We did it in my class, and it's going to be kind of cool. It's a little Star Wars banner, pole banner. So we're going to do a document that is. Let me turn everything on. I forgot to turn all this stuff on, and let me turn on my keyboard clicker so you can see what my keyboard strokes are. Let me see if that's working. It is. We are going to make a document that is 11 by 17 by 300. So it's going to be kind of big. And we're going to do it at high resolution because we don't do it that often. So 11 by 17 at 300 dpi, and it doesn't matter what color the background is. It just matters that we have a background. And we're going to get to that in a minute. Turn that off. There we go. So here's our document. And I'm going to turn my rulers on, Command R, and make sure they're set to inches. We're going to right click and set them to inches. Now I'm going to 8.5 by 11 by 17. I'm going to drag a ballpark third grid down here just for the sake of argument, just so I have a general idea where thirds are. Not that I really care too much, but I just want to know. Okay, so we got this document, and we're going to start off with this paper texture that I gave my class. This guy right here. Mostly because I want to use some texture in the background. I kind of want it to look a little bit like an Old West wanted poster. So here we go. I'm going to grab that layer, hold down Shift, and drag it across. Now, since we're at 300 dpi, it's going to be a little bit smaller because that document went at a different resolution. I'm going to close that. I don't need that anymore. And I'm going to scale this up. It'll be destructive, but it'll actually work in our favor. So Command T, and I'm going to scale it up here, and then I'm going to drag that there, and drag that there, and I want some of these burnt edges, so I'm going to keep those a little close to them. Perfect. Let's do that. Awesome. Not too bad. Let's do some text. We need the text tool, T, and I'm using the font Impact, that guy right there. And I'm just going to crank it up as high as I can get it for now. And I'm going to type the word uppercase Lando, because we're going to make a Lando Calrissian poster. And maybe you saw this ad. And I'm going to free transform it and scale it up. And I'm going to stretch it. I want this thing to be kind of long, and that's why I kind of threw those grids there, so I got a general idea where I'm at here. There we go. Maybe like that. That's not too bad. Let's go with that. I'm going to return. That looks pretty good. I'm going to turn off my guides, Command colon. You can see the key commands down at the bottom there. All right, let's open up my Lando picture. I have this photograph of the new Lando Calrissian, and I'm going to hold down my Shift key and drag that layer over to my working document. He's super small, and I really don't care because when I scale this up, it's going to get a little bit more grainy, and it's grainy already, and that's actually going to work to my benefit. Free transform, Command T, and I'm going to hold down Shift and Alt, and I'm going to scale him up till he's just a little bit bigger than my text, like that. Perfect. But I want him to appear inside the text, so I'm going to need to create a clipping mask. So if you hold down your Alt key and you put your cursor, I'm going to do that right there. Hold down your Alt key and put your cursor right between your layers. You get that little turn down arrow, and that means you are about to clip these layers together. So I'm going to click, and there's my clip, and you can see Lando is now inside of my image. It's looking pretty good. What's next? I want to put the Solo movie logo above. So I have this one I found, and it's a ping. It's not exactly the color I wanted. I really need it in black. So we're going to have to do some selecting. I am going to select black and make sure contiguous is off. Cameron, you're so okay. And I am going to click on the black arrow. Don't mind that guy. So I have all the black selected, but I really need the logo and everything selected. So I'm going to Shift Command I it and reverse the selection. So now this is selected, the Solo, but I don't even need that part. I just need the selection. So I'm going to put a new layer over the top of this, a brand new layer, and I'm going to turn that off. And you can still see my selection still there. And I'm going to fill that selection with black. Since I'm going to reset my colors, D, black is my foreground color right there. And I'm going to hit Alt Delete. This is another way to fill elements that you have selected. And there you go. Perfect. There's my logo. That's exactly what I need. I'm going to drag that layer across, holding down Shift. I'm going to drag it across and make sure it's on top. It is. And with the Move tool, I'm just going to pop it right at the very top here. There we go. I don't need this anymore. Thank you very much. All right. What else is left? We need to put some Star Wars elements in this thing. I have this other Photoshop file I have. These are elements from pixelsquid.com. A lot of great elements in there, and they happen to have things like the Millennium Falcon and a TIE Fighter, and you can put them at any angle you want and use them however you want. And in this case, I'm not going to answer that. And in this case, I'm going to grab this Millennium Falcon layer I have, hold it down my Shift, and drag it over. And I want it at the bottom, and it's a little bit too big, so I'm going to free transform it. It is a smart object. And this whole little vignette we're about to make is kind of a secondary element to everything. It's not the most important thing on this poster. And I know this isn't Lando's Millennium Falcon. It's the old Millennium Falcon. But the new Millennium Falcon is a joke. All right, so I got my little Millennium Falcon there, and I'm going to grab this TIE Fighter. Now this one you're sort of looking down at the TIE Fighter. So that's going to need to come into play. So I'm going to grab that TIE Fighter right there. I'm going to drag it across. And I am going to I'm going to free transform it and make it kind of small. I'm going to zoom in just a bit here so I can see this element. And I'm going to make it kind of small and turn it this way a little bit. There we go. I'm going to steal this other TIE Fighter right here. And I'm going to move it into my scene and scale it down a little bit, free transform. And I am going to, it's not going to be that big. And I'm going to turn this one a little bit this way and get it closer. So now it looks like they're in hot pursuit. That's not too bad. Looking pretty good there. Believe it or not, we're almost done. Did I give you guys that graphic? I'm not sure that I did. Repost. This guy right here. That guy I forgot to put in. I don't need my Star Wars elements anymore. Goodbye, Star Wars elements. I have this texture, and I'm going to lay this texture kind of over this paper here a little bit. And I'm going to drop it in, and you can see it back there. I don't need you anymore. And let's go to full so we can fully see it. I'm going to scale it up so it covers the entire page. And we will change the blending mode. I'm not even sure. I'm going to scale it up here and over. And it really doesn't matter that I'm destroying this because it's really more of a textural element. And I believe I want to say I used divide. I did use divide. And when I do, I get that sort of popping, gritty, sort of Old West vibe now. And it gets a little hot there. I may turn the opacity down just a little bit. All right, that's not too bad. That looks pretty good. And let's just do a couple small things. I was resistant to do this, but on the Lando text layer where the text is, I put in a very small inner shadow. And I'm going to set it to multiply, and I'm going to set the color to black. And the distance is whatever you want it to be. I kind of kept it super subtle, though. I didn't want it to be way out there. So 25 is what I have for distance, but maybe that might even be a bit much. Let's see what that is. That's not too bad. One thing we didn't do in class, though, is on this Millennium Falcon, I'm going to double click to get to the layer styles, and I'm going to give it a very, very slight outer glow. Okay? And I may even make that outer glow bluish. Yeah, that might work. Let's try that. So, kind of almost emulates the engines of the Millennium Falcon that are on. So, outer glow, and I used a blue. I just picked a sample from the sky here in the Lando image, whatever blue you want. And I set it to multiply. And 29 seems like it might be a good way to go. 30, somewhere in there. Wait, come back here. That's what I'm looking for because I turned it off. Outer glow. There it is. And hit OK. And that's kind of it, everybody. That's how we built this Lando poster. And I ended up putting it on another element that I will give you guys here today sometime we find that element. Miscellaneous, Lando, this guy. I ended up putting it on a banner, a pull banner, like I saw it when I was in Disney World. And that's kind of how it looks in real life. So it's good to get this nice little presentation graphic. But anyway, that's how I built that logo. Pretty simple, just a few layers, nothing too crazy. And looks pretty good. All right, keep photoshopping. Talk to you soon.